Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Views from the FriendZone podcast. It's your boy Real Talk Marv. Happy Sunday, y'all. It's been a minute since I've been in the studio. Me and Cliff Brockman, we was in Miami a couple of weeks ago, living our best life. You know what I mean? Shout out to Greedy Gut. Shout out to Open Shirt Poppy. They held it down 2 weeks ago and had this show, had a good, interesting conversations. You know, we got to send love and condolences to Greedy Gut. She lost her mother during the last couple of weeks, and you know she's dealing with that. But we got mad love and support for her, and you know we want her to know that we got her back, and you know she come back when she's ready. You know what I'm saying? But you know we're gonna have a good show. We got a special guest in the building. You know, like always, I'm gonna have people introduce themselves, starting with the guest.
What's going on, y'all? It's T-Tail, Terrence Tillman. I'm a certified life coach and a professional speaker from Queens, New York. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Nice.
It's your boy Cliff Brockman.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going to definitely ask you, you know, more about what you got going on and you know, more about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to, you know, ask you also, like, you know, what made you go down this field? You know, what are your greatest experiences and what do you get from doing what you do?
Yeah, so I think this started about 2014 or so. Lost my job. My mom was having a brain aneurysm on her deathbed. Then my dad, ironically, was in another hospital taking chemotherapy for cancer. So it kind of happened all at once. I was just in a bad place, you know, didn't know whether my mom was going to live or die. You know, so just kind of in a desperate place, right? And just trying to find inspiration wherever I could, you know, just try to find some type of motivation. So I would watch videos. I would go to these motivational speakers and just stay in the audience and just listen. And I would drag some of my friends with me. And one particular friend of mine, she was with me. I took her to like 2 or 3 of these, and she was like, you know, you've been doing this for years. I was like, what? She was like, you've been motivating us for years, like your friends, your family, strangers. You help out a lot, you know, since high school, since before high school, like you have a gift.
So it was your calling before you knew it was your calling.
Yeah, you know, but I never really made the correlation to do this like on a professional level. It was just something that I just do, you know. People call me for advice all the time. We have 2-3 hour conversations and stuff like that. And so she said to me, until your name is on the bill, I'm not coming back to any one of these events with you because you're playing. Because this is what you should be doing.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, that was my aha moment. And then from then, you know, I just had to figure it out and just began my journey, you know, becoming a coach and getting out there speaking and doing things like that.
Yeah, that's what's up. You want to ask him any questions, Claire?
No, I'm going to ask him during the show, probably later on in the show. I'll ask him more questions about it.
So how do you go about becoming a certified life coach? And, like, what is the process like for those who are, like, listening? Like, you know, because sometimes I feel like we all have a word or we all kind of feel like we can do certain things, but we don't know the credentials or the path to achieve it.
Yeah, so people take different avenues. For me, I wanted to source out a very reputable organization, and I knew a friend who had another friend who was a master life coach. Her name is Aisha Curry. She's in California.
Okay.
And she has a school for this, called Powerology.
Wow.
It's an incredible school. So you really go to school, you do the homework, you do projects and stuff like that. They teach you about life coaching and the differences of what life coaching is versus therapy, which is vastly two different things.
I was going to say, right, because it kind of feels like it could border on, you know, psychiatrists or psychology and kind of thing. So, like, you know,
what I've learned is that it's two different things. You know, therapy kind of takes care of your past. A life coach prepares you for the future, right? And
that's deep.
Yeah, you know, so it's kind of like having a personal trainer, right? Yeah. So you kind of meet with goals, you know, and what you really want to do with your life, and we create customized plans, you know, and and help you with that. And it's kind of like I'm your accountability partner.
And you know what's dope about that? I think if it's possible, that should be introduced into our school curriculum, right? Because mental health, goals, aspirations, I feel like we need to train the new generation for things like that, right? Because I feel like the old way of schooling is becoming outdated, right? Because before they used to just teach you trades, and then they started moving to a more academic, whereas this is teaching you to become students. But I feel like we don't learn life skills in school anymore. We don't learn about money. We don't learn about relationships. Things that you feel like, okay, you know, why is it the school's responsibility? I feel like schools should prepare us for life in different avenues and different facets, and I feel like it's becoming outdated. You know, life coaching and mental health, even though it's two different aspects, they kind of marry with each other, and they also are things that we need, right? Especially kids who don't have a direction, or they're not kind of sure. If we had these kind of services available for them, that would make a world of difference.
And once I kind of learned that, then, you know, I started to partner with, you know, certain therapists, you know, to introduce what I do and create a buddy system, because there are certain things that I'm not qualified to even, you know, tell you about, you know, or give you advice on. You know, like you need a licensed therapist, you know, to do those things, you know, so that's where the two, you know, separate.
Nice, but I love that, right? Your therapist talks to you about your past. Your life coach kind of prepares you for your future.
Yeah, that's a good
and it's
point,
two different things, right? But you also need them.
You need both.
You need both.
Yep, because you could have a life coach, but if you haven't taken care of the stuff from your past, then you could sabotage your future too. Right? So you know, they work hand in hand.
Cool. Before we jump into the show, you know, want to talk about like what's going on, current events and stuff like that. You know, one thing I would talk about is like, you know, slightly, it's football season around the corner. Andrew Luck just retired last night. That's a bombshell. And I have my fantasy football draft today.
Oh, you lucky.
I could have messed around and drafted him, you know. Obviously, that's not the end of the world, but that's crazy.
What was the sudden change? I didn't even know.
Because he's just been so injured the last couple of years, and he has this nagging ankle injury right now that he's just like, you know what, I'm done.
But he made a decent amount of money.
Yeah, he did a decent amount of money, stuff like that.
He doesn't look like a person that lives outside of his means.
and to bring it back in, he may need a life coach now, right? Because in his mindset, he was going to play football for the next 10, 15 years. But now the game is away from him.
He played like 7, 8 seasons?
7 seasons, So now it's like, what do you do next kind of thing?
Based off of his press conference, I think he would need therapy first. Because he said that it took a real mental toll on him. Where it seemed like it really affected his mental health to where he felt that he really couldn't play anymore. And then after that, he would definitely need a life coach.
That's
And that's the funny thing about sports, right? Is just like either your body will make you retire or your mind will make you retire. And sometimes we're not in the sports figure's head. So we just like, yo, he young. He got mad years left.
Why would he do this? But and the thing about being a former athlete and just in general, like you physically, you could think in your head, I could do it, but once that body tell you can't do it no more, it's over. It's over.
And him, it's a combination of his body not being with him. But I feel like if he took a year off, he could heal. But his mind is like, do I want to go through that again?
And then it's like the rehab and all. You see, the thing about people only see what's on TV. People don't see the work behind it. It's a lot of work, especially when you get a nagging injury where you have to rehab 4 or 5 times a day. You got to do the pool later. You got to do the pool early in the morning. You don't really get time to spend time with your family because you're trying to get back to the top peak, to being that top athlete.
And it's also a bigger story outside of this to like even switch it is just like, you know, life paths. Like let's look at Dwayne Wade and let's look at Carmelo Anthony. Both class of 2003, right? Wade been to the mountaintop. And if you saw Wade play last year, he still got it.
He looked decent.
He may not give you 35 minutes, but if you give Wade 20 minutes, he might give you 20 real quick, right?
No, he still could average a solid 14 and 6 in the league.
And now look at Melo. Melo can't find a job.
But
another guy on the pinnacle from 03.
That situation is different, right? You talking about Dwayne Wade is when the body physically tell you don't have that, you can't do it anymore. You just age play a factor, and just all the years putting the pound in on certain things.
But mindset is the mellow thing.
Mindset and mellow thing, where it's also, it showed you your case. It's not even a mindset mellow thing. It's a character issue, right? The NBA said, we're not going to deal with your character issue.
Yeah.
The fact that you're a selfish basketball player and you're only thinking about yourself in this stage of your life, you don't realize that you're supposed to be a support player and instead of starting to be a star. Your character issue is going to keep you outside of our league, and that's what happened.
Two more before we jump in the show. Two more athletes that I also want to bring is the mindset as well, right? Because it's critical to what we're talking about, and especially your services, life services. Let's look at what's going on with Boogie Cousins, and let's look also what's going on with Dwight Howard, right?
Yeah.
When Boogie Cousins, his body, he's going to probably have to have the Andrew Luck situation. I'm not forcing him to retire, but his body's not really dealing with him. But then now let's talk about Dwight Howard, who's about to be signed with the Lakers when he finishes buyout with the Grizzlies.
Yep.
But the Lakers said, you're on a short leash.
Yep. No guarantee money.
Think about it. Dwight Howard was one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
But
He still has physical abilities, but it's the mindset that people are just like, whoa.
Then once again, it's not just the mindset. It's not his physical abilities that you talk about. It's his character issues. He's a guy that talks to the public too much. He whines. He complains. He brings problem to the team locker room. When you have character issues and you're in the NBA or you're playing on that top level, these owners who are billionaires don't got time for that. They can't babysit a grown man who I'm paying millions of dollars to. So. See, good character. You ever realize good character guys last 2 more years and get paid
Look at
for
Vince
free?
Carter.
Yeah, they
Look
get
at Vince Carter.
because he has no character issues.
No character issues.
Royal Ivy, some dude from Queens, played 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. He probably, I like Royal. Since Cardo's and Texas days, he shouldn't have been in 10 leagues, but he had good character issues.
The NBA skill-wise, he probably should have been in the league 3 years, 4 years.
But the NBA said,
that attitude
the NBA
stressed
said,
him out.
you know what? He did a lot of non-profit work. He did a lot of things that such as so. He's a good person just to have in the locker room, and we're gonna keep you. That keep
And now
your
he's
job.
on the Knicks coaching staff.
That's what I'm saying. So
amazing.
it's all about character issues.
Yeah. No, so it made me think about just how we have to also understand the differences between just talent and mindset.
Yeah.
You got to marry the two.
Right.
It's not just sports, in life in general,
Right.
right? And I think a lot of times we don't necessarily marry the mental aspect with our talent. A lot of times we just say my talent's going to make me a diva.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but once your talent becomes marginal or is becoming closer to the average, you lose all the equity that you would have if you had the
That's a
better
fact.
mindset,
That's
a fact.
better teammate. Jared Dudley, because someone you read that, right?
Yes, I did.
I know this is not a sports podcast, but it's marrying the mentality of talent and athletic ability and talents, right? Because we gotta marry the two, and we have a life coach, so we want you to opine on that. But
Royce White.
Royce White, who also had mental issues with preventing him from being in the NBA, but we're not going to talk about that,
Right.
was saying how come Melo don't have a job, but Jared Dudley's on the Lakers. And Jared Dudley came out and said Melo's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's not necessarily always about the best players on the team.
Right.
It's the best fit. And you'll find that in business, you find that in life, you find that in work as well.
Relationships too, yeah.
But
Sometimes
go ahead.
I'll let you talk. But sometimes you'll be in a work setting and you're just like, yo, I'm more talented than this person. I have more skills and stuff like that. But your team contribution sometimes is not just measured by your talent.
Right.
It's fit. It's synergy. Melo doesn't necessarily bring the biggest synergy to teams, especially with a lot of the background noise that happens.
And let's call it space. Having Gerald Dudley is an asset. He's a good locker room good. He's a good motivator for the youngster. Having Melo's a liability. Somebody who's a first ballot Hall of Fame that didn't accept that, you know what, I could still get 20 a game, but teams don't need you for that right now. They need you to go in there and say, listen, I'm gonna get my 14 and 6 rebounds, and I'm gonna help out a younger player that could be the next Melo and stuff. He wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
It was sad to me to even see him on TV basically crying for a job. It was disgusting to me, borderline disgusting to me. But
without a real controversy, he had to do that.
But that tells you how
it's the mindset. He didn't have the right mindset.
And not having it. Listen, when you have a good character, you carry yourself a good way. Sometimes your job will keep you just alone, just because he's always been a good dude.
And he's reliable.
He came to work every day on time. Mm-hmm. He's not doing the greatest for this project for the job, but I know he's gonna come to work every day and he's gonna be motivated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you have a negative attitude, I'm paying you millions of dollars. I don't have time to baby your likes.
Yeah.
There's no need for you.
What do you feel about it? Exactly. So what do you feel about that?
I think it's true. I think Melo kind of did himself a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Houston.
Yeah.
It's just, but I mean, to his credit, he did say that he wasn't told that he, had to play a lesser role. But that's where self-awareness comes in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so where has the league gone in the last 4 to 5 years?
Yeah.
It's completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit the way I play.
And that's another thing that's hurting Boogie Cousins and Dwight Howard, right? Because Stephen A. said that the injury cost him like $150 million. Mm-hmm. But to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure about that because Boogie's game, Boogie as a player itself, that big man, it's dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not what the wave of the game is. Big players are still gonna get drafted and stuff like that, but how many people are rushing to give those maxes anymore? You know?
I think the difference between Boogie and Dwight Howard is at least he kind of developed a game where he could pass the ball and he could shoot 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Boogie could shoot 3-pointers. Dwight Howard, he never developed his game. He even went to try to train with Hakeem Olajuwon, and it seemed like he never even learned a thing from him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he never really had certain things like Shaq had, jump hooks and certain things like that. What Dwight Howard is right now, the NBA really doesn't really need it anymore.
And that's the attitude of the raw talent and not developing yourself into more.
Right.
All right, so we did a lot of sports. It's funny, we're gonna transition from sports, but it's still gonna be a sports conversation, right? And we want to talk about compromise. The reason why we're talking about compromise because this week one of the biggest stories, even though it's a sports story, was the Kaepernick versus Jay-Z situation, right? Mm-hmm. And we want to just talk about the compromise, right? Because I feel like a lot of times, especially African American people, when we fight for our rights or when we try to get things accomplished, we compromise, and sometimes we compromise in a good way, sometimes we compromise in a bad way. So I want to discuss that compromise. I want to discuss the need for compromise and when do we draw the line, kind of thing, right? So the first question is, the Cap versus Jay-Z argument is at the center of compromise to get what you want. Whose side are you on?
It's tough, I think, for me because when I first heard the story, I was like, Jay-Z is dead wrong.
Yeah,
he's dead wrong.
I felt that way too, but
I was like, he's 100% dead wrong for what he's doing, right? But then, after a day or two, I started to think about it a little bit more, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of players in the NBA, in the NFL, right? And they get paid by the NFL, right? So when we talk about protests, it's like, do the players really want to protest? Because they're still playing to get paychecks, right? Mm-hmm. From, Kaepernick, we're all taking a knee, and he doesn't have a job. And people are mad at Jay-Z because Kaepernick still doesn't have a job. Like Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. Like, if you really wanted to make a stand for certain things, then you don't have to play. You could protest and not play, but you still want your paycheck too, right? Because that benefits you and your family, right? And that's most of the NFL. Imagine a league that's predominantly African American stop playing. Imagine that. If they just stop playing, like how would that affect the NFL? How would that affect their ratings, right? That's protest to me, right? I think Bill Russell did it.
Yeah.
Right? There's certain prominent figures that did those things. So it's like, you know what, Jay-Z shouldn't do this partnership because it's a money deal and he sold out. But I'm like, if you guys cared about Cap so much, once he lost his job, you guys could have protested and not played either.
What do you think?
This is a very sticky situation, right? But first when it happened, I was like, I'm not a Jay-Z fan. I'm pro Nas. I never liked Jay-Z, whatever, boom. But I do like the moves that he's making now. And then A younger me would have been like, man, fuck Jay-Z. That nigga, he's a clown to me. But there was somebody that's in his 30s and understanding, right? Right? It's not just about billionaires want to hang out with billionaires, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things when the position was offered to him and he was able to do it. Anybody who's a billionaire that wants to be in the billionaire club is going to take it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's right or wrong, whatever, too. We don't know the full details behind the table what's going on, right? So that's why a lot of times it's just like, that's why people, this is off the subject when we get labeled the snitch. Mm-hmm. People just hear what they hear. They don't hear the whole full stories why this person became a snitch, right? Yeah. So that's what we knocking Jay-Z for. Jay-Z, this is a $1 billion move, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody who's a billionaire came to him and say, listen, man, you're huge in the African-American community. We're losing a lot of money from that. Let's work together. You in the club that we could talk to now. Mm-hmm. Any one of us would have took it. Yeah. Right? Because now you're talking about a situation where it's not even just for the money. It's just the status where he's going to go with this, right? Yeah. He might do some great things for us. But we so quick to conclusion and say, yo, he sold out. He did this. I can't believe this or this because of the cabinet thing. It's a club that he had to accept. Yeah. And any one of us would accept it.
Go ahead.
But the reason why I do want to give Jay-Z the benefit of the doubt is because his history with social injustice issues. And so when you have that history of making an impact.
But listen, all three of us, you in a $1 billion club now, one of the hugest billionaires in the NFL come to you and offer you a position. We just got to this club. We start turning them down now. Who else is going to turn us down? Yeah. One phone call, and now other deals don't get done. Yeah. You go back into the club that you don't exist. There's only a couple people talking to each other, and that's what it was.
But so I want to, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but this is the point I want to make. We don't know the details.
That's what I said. Right? That's 100%.
So, but what you're saying is a $1 billion club. We don't know the details, so I can't sit there and say like he sold out, or I can sit there and say this is a great move, bad move kind of thing because we don't know the details. The problem I had with the way that it went about is one. If you watch the video, he was just like we're past kneeling, and he made a comment like, "Do you know what the issue was about?" And then you have Goodell smirking, laughing and shit. Now you looking like it's looking a little Sambo-ish, just looking a little like because the kneeling. This is my thing. The kneeling made people uncomfortable. It made the world stop and say, you know what? We need to listen to what's going on. It's a fact. So for you to say that we're past that, nah, bro, you can't say that we're past that. Now, if you would have said, you know what? We nailed, it brought attention to it. Now we want to try something different. Not poo-pooing the kneeling thing, but saying we also want to try other things besides the kneeling. I would have got it. Mm-hmm. It started become a joke, kind of laughing, kind of stuff like that. Right. And my thing about it is, the bad thing is we're always put against each other, right? Let me finish this. America always kind of creates this is my black man. Like Trump said, there go my African American, right? We're always put to where it's just like when we have two voices. Even look at Malcolm and Martin, right? There was people who would pin our two voices together. Just imagine, even though things did get better, just imagine the energy we would have had if we had Malcolm and Martin working together. Mm-hmm. It would have accelerated the reach. But eventually they start pushing people against each other. So I'm not sitting there saying F what Jay-Z's saying. I feel like the optics of the way he put it out there was really bad. Right. But let me say one thing. And him being such a trained professional, artist as well as a businessman, I felt he wasn't prepared. Mm-hmm. He came more very like nonchalant kind of stuff like that, and that's what really kind of affected the conversation for me. So I'm a Jay-Z fan for music and his business acumen, right? But I can't say whose side I'm on, but I say we lose when we're pit against each other, when we're forced to make a choice.
So I want to just piggyback a little bit on that, right? So we don't know the full details of the situation, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta understand, right? Before even him taking this deal and dealing with the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. Come on, Jay-Z's a smart guy. You don't think he talked to the people and say, yo, is this the move? He had to talk to other people that said, listen, it's kind of situation. It's kind of situation where your boss asks you to do a project at your job. You know it's something you really can't really do, but you can't say no to it. You still got to do the project, knowing it's a bullshit project. Whatever you do, right? So it's one of them situations where he talked to who he talked to, probably got advice from, and they said you have to do. It's like you can't say no, because you say no to this man. You don't know what kind of situation you're going to get put in now.
So let me give you more detail.
Okay.
The NFL last year came to Jermaine Dupri and wanted to kind of work out a similar situation. Obviously, we don't know the full details. Listen out. Jay-Z told Jermaine Dupri, don't do it. Don't have that kind. Don't be involved with the NFL and their entertainment and situation, stuff like that. And then now 1 year later, Jay-Z does a deal.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I know you're gonna say the magnitude of what Jay-Z is versus Jermaine Dupri.
The magnitude, credibility. The deal they probably offered Jermaine Dupri was like a small percentage deal that was gonna work for them. You talking about this is
We still don't know what.
This is you talking about a Soulja Boy and Drake kind of deal. They was offering Soulja Boy a deal.
We don't know the detail.
We don't gotta know the detail. We know the credibility of the people. What you think?
But Jermaine Dupri did come on. I think it was, I don't know if it was Big Tigger or something like that, and he said that that was false. You know, that they didn't really offer him a deal, and Jay-Z, that conversation really never happened.
Okay.
I don't really know. We'll never really know. But
the reason why a lot of people are kind of looking at Jay-Z, because Jay-Z was with Cat in the beginning, wore his jersey performing. Yeah. Remember, he has a line in the song, I don't need a Super Bowl. Super Bowl need me, kind of thing, right? So it kind of made you feel like he had a momentum of like, we're not fooling with the NFL. But things change. Yeah. Cap has also took, he signed a non-disclosure for when he signed his settlement and stuff like that. So now Cat can't really speak out about certain things and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, people got to make their money. So I totally get that. I'm more upset about how we're being pitted against each other.
But that you see, somebody who doesn't understand what's going on automatically jump. Oh, he's a seller. He's this, whatever. Because you're going through emotion feelings, you got to take a step back and put yourself in that man's shoes. I'm not even a Jay-Z fan, but I understood it. I never, even when it first happened, I was like, it didn't surprise me, right? Because it's one of the situations where he's in a different club. Who's to say he didn't talk to Magic Johnson about it, or somebody else, who's credible, and said, you know what? Because billionaires talk to billionaires. Magic's up there. So who's to say he didn't talk to Magic? And he was like, what you think? And Magic probably was like, it's something that you really can't turn down. Especially you coming from, especially no. Listen, I'm gonna let you talk. Especially coming from the music world, he might do something that's in the next couple of years. You're like, oh, now I see it. We got to give it time. I think what he failed at is having that press conference and then bringing all these 105 people and all these music magicians to ask some questions. He should have hit it like this.
He should have had a PR team with him.
And did the PR move and let everybody else talk about it, right?
Yeah. Because like you said,
the optics are bad.
It's the optics was very bad. Very bad.
That's like LeBron saying I'm going to Miami.
Gotta take. I don't know. I'm a LeBron fan. That to me was people in their feelings. But that's what
people in their feelings right now about this whole situation.
Yeah. No, but my thing is it's more so of like you having that look where I just felt like he wasn't attacking Colin Kaepernick, but I felt like he brushed Colin Kaepernick to the side. Right. It was sort of like someone said, this is the equivalent to me. Like, you're hearing civil rights talk and stuff like that, and then they're asking the civil rights leader, and they was like, yeah, I saw Rosa Parks. She did her little busting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, it's bigger than what Rosa Parks did. But that's what I'm saying, like the optics of it was just really, really bad.
When he had the Brooklyn Nets, right? He had 1% of the Brooklyn Nets. 1%. That's what the NBA gave him, 1% of the Brooklyn Nets. And he built the Barclays. Barclays got lit. Everybody was Brooklyn up. They gave him 1%. This deal right here, top of the mountain. Couldn't turn it down.
You keep saying that like you know the details.
Well, we don't know the details, but
everyone's saying that it's gonna come with ownership. Do you know how ownership works? Like you can't sit. a league can't sit there and say, yeah, we're going to give you partial ownership of it, right? A transaction has to go. Who's selling? The last team that was up for purchase was the Carolina Panthers, and that deal was already went through. Through.
But no, we're on the details. You're right, because that's a back and forth situation.
Yeah, when things like this happen, they immediately throw spin. They whisper, "Oh, he's gonna get ownership," for us to be distracted and not be bothered by it, kind of thing. We still don't know. So let's move on to we'll still talk about compromise, but why does it feel like African Americans we also lose during compromise? Like I feel like other cultures, when they stand on the picket line and they had their movements, I feel like their demands are met and you feel change. I feel like every time we had these kind of movements, we make noise and we get frustrated, and then I feel like we never get the just due when we draw our line and pick a line. I feel like our compromises is we lose more than we gain. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think historically, we've always been very forgiving.
Yes.
And you can always count on that for us to be very, very forgiving of everything and everybody.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times people just go, oh, well, we'll just pray about it. And that's always like the hook. It's like, well, we're just going to pray for this or pray for that.
We're going to get our reward in heaven or afterlife. I want my roses while I can smell them.
But there's a place for that. And I'm not, refuting that. But it's like we're always turning the other cheek.
Exactly.
But historically, that's what it's always been. So that's why I feel like a lot of maybe different cultures kind of are able to just kind of stand firm and get what they're looking for. And also they work together a lot.
We don't work with. That's
another
collaboration. We have to come back to.
That's a huge thing.
What about you? Why you feel like I feel like we settle? Our settlements always least than other groups when they draw the line and have these conversations. What do you think?
I mean, it's just a matter of not to say that we don't care enough. Like we don't stick together. Like when the Jewish is going through stuff, they stick together. They make sure things are going through, and it's just that we're so trained, right? Everything to say, like you said, I'll get better next time. We'll do better next time. We just gotta keep fighting. We gotta keep fighting. We have that mindset of saying that next time instead of just doing it and sticking together. Like he said about the NFL, if everybody was like, let's not play. Dudes is not doing that because I'm like, dudes is like, I like Kaepernick, but I got $30 million with Nike. I'm not doing that.
Y'all both said something that I totally agree. I feel so many times like we're just programmed to be like, you know what? Well, they gave us a little piece of bread. Yeah. I'm gonna be good with the little. Not like we have to kind of draw those lines. We have, and that's why I'm such a like. You know what? People, even Kaepernick. Now I'm hearing people downplay Kaepernick because he's half black and half white, and he didn't grow up in the hood, so he can't really speak for us. Come on, bro. That's the kind of dissension that they're banking on us to do. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of times our leaders, they don't even worry about our leaders. They feel we're going to tear down our leaders before they even have to get to our leaders. Mm-hmm. Like back in the days, think about it. Black Panther movement, all those movements, it was internally that they got to them. They get to someone, they have somebody infiltrate the group. I mean, not to get too political, but I just feel like as a people, we don't take our stand long enough. Mm-hmm. We just feel so much that, you know what? Like the whole seat at the table, right? Mm-hmm. We're always begging, screaming, we want a seat at the table. We need seat at the table. Instead of creating our own table and loving the table that we create, mm-hmm. we always begging for a seat at the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's just, we don't really support a lot of our own, I think, enough, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different, even restaurants and products, and people doing really amazing things that have their own businesses and entrepreneurs and things like that. Mm-hmm. And like we were saying earlier, they won't even share your story. They won't even share your post or your video or your product or your shirt. I think that's that's the difference.
Like that's why, like when it comes to that, like I in the industry, I really love Master P because Master P has that mindset of saying like, it's not always about the money with him. It's always just like, why do you need that? He told Kevin, let's start our own NFL. Let's start our own league. Yeah. It's not gonna make as much money as the NFL and stuff whatever too. But he's like, listen, the days of needing handouts is over. We got enough money to make this thing happen together. if Jordan, Magic Johnson, Oprah, Bill John, BT, everybody come together and say, let's start a league, whatever, they can make it happen.
Let me tell you, back in the days,
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube,
the big three. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
It's big time. It's big time.
And then the crazy thing is this, like this, if historically, like the Negro leagues, the Negro baseball leagues, the Negro baseball league product was better than the MLB. But what happened to us is that we still wanted that notoriety, so we kind of dismantled the Negro league so we could join the MLB and make the MLB the greatest product. The MLB, the greatest players in the MLB, which is America's game, are Latino. Not even African Americans. It's the Latino players who are the truly the best players, right? You sprinkle here and there. There's some Mike Trout and other athletes. But I say that to say this: we need to feel things that come from us is good enough, and we don't feel it's good enough. There's a meme that went out, like you said, the restaurants and support. A guy was charging $3.75 for a hot dog. It was a white guy charging a hot dog. Black guys came through, said, yo, let me get a couple of them. Asian guys said, oh, my man, I'm going to get, what's the name? Then African-American offered $3.75. Come on, why you got to charge me $3.75 for a hot dog? You know a hot dog's $1.50. I could go home and make a hot dog for 50 cents. They didn't argue when the other people presented that same hot dog. In fact, they even purchased more than they usually. And now you're beating down someone who looks like you, saying, oh, you're overcharging, when he's just trying to compete with the market.
That's like business. You could be having a restaurant, anything or two. That same person going to a restaurant, he would spend $350 for that Italian restaurant just because of the name and whatever, because of standard. But then if you somebody that's opened a soul food spot in the hood and you charge $30,
like my bill's $100.
You charging?
I didn't order this. What is gratuity? You know what I'm saying? Arguing type
you
stuff.
Charging $140. They looking for so you charging $140 for a plate of food? That's crazy. But you're not knowing that you would pay for it if it was somebody else. That's why a lot of times.
And that's true.
That's why a lot of times, like 50 Cent, when he hit Vitamin Well, he put his name on it, right? Because people want to support it.
Yeah.
It's one of them situations where we are trained to think negative instead of doing think positive and saying, you know what, let me help others.
And the only thing I ask is that if we're gonna support each other and invest in each other, I hope the businesses come with some good customer service.
Yeah, that bothers me sometimes too. But at the same time, because we had this conversation. But another thing I want to say also is, we don't give each other the time to get it right. Right? You gotta think about it. African Americans as business people, right? We've done business throughout the history, but at the same time, we don't have the longevity as far as the chances to get it right, to get the system, build systems, improve upon it. A lot of times we're first generation business owners, right? It's not like grandpa taught you how to be a business. We've been taught how to be workers. So I feel like you go to Walmart, you have bad customer service, you'll come back, you'll complain about it, you'll come back and do it again. I feel like sometimes Walmart can do you wrong 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and you'll go back to it. A black business do you wrong one time, and not only will you never do it again, but now you're spreading the word, right? You went one step further. Think about the Popeye chicken sandwich. We out here losing our damn minds over this damn chicken sandwich.
I still didn't taste it.
It's still a fast food chicken sandwich. I tasted it. I cheated on my diet. I tasted it. It was good. It wasn't, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind. I had the sandwich. I didn't say to myself, I'm going to get it again tonight. I'm going to get it tomorrow. It just was a sandwich.
I'll be honest. I had one today.
It was good?
I was disappointed.
Because the hype, it's too crazy. It can't live up to it.
It was basic.
It was very basic to me, to be honest. I was like, oh, come on.
It's just a cycle that we just got to change, right? Because it's like...
But you know what the thing about Walmart, though? I can go to a different Walmart. I have options. I don't have to go to the same Walmart. I can go to one in a different town, right?
Yeah.
But with certain certain businesses, shops that's black owned, then maybe just one.
Yeah.
Now, if I have a disagreement with the person that was there, or I get bad service, why would I want to go back to that one?
But this is my thing. How can it become? How can black businesses grow to start improving upon their system if they die before they can grow?
Right.
I'm not sitting there and saying go to a black business and be disrespected.
Right.
I'm sitting there saying if you have a bad experience at a black business, tell that black business person, look, I had a bad experience here.
Yeah.
This is what I feel about it. I want you to win. So these are the things I feel like you can work on.
Yeah.
Maybe they're receptive to it, maybe they're not, but you did your part.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
so the next question on the compromise is, the cop who killed Eric Garner finally got fired. But why does it feel like we still didn't win? 5 years later, he kept his job for 5 years, benefits and all stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, it's crazy, the fighting. Like, he won in so many different courts, he finally gets fired. Like, why does it take so much for us to get, resolution to our issues?
But even in that, I saw that there was a GoFundMe for his pension. And
it's probably at like $1 million right now.
The last thing I saw, it was like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars already. And, but that goes right back to what we were talking about before. Working together, supporting whoever it is that you support in your community. They rounded up and supported that cop, and they want him to have a good a pension, right? That feels like a loss.
The gun who killed Trayvon Martin sold for like $250,000.
I think it was the first 2-3 hours, like whatever. He raised $70,000. The first 2-3 hours, $70,000. Same thing with us. I don't know, not to shit on my peoples, but I don't know if the situation is.
To be honest with you, though, don't get the game twisted. It's bigger than just support for that person. It's more the hate of us that drives those up than the support of that person.
Yeah, no, it is. Listen,
but it's still for a cause.
It's still
right?
for a cause.
So even if the cause is the hate, they'll rally and they'll support it, right? And I'm just saying we have to do the same for the things, for our causes and for the things that we love and for the things that we want to support.
Exactly. Like how we show out for Black Panther and this damn chicken sandwich. We need to find certain things to show out that's going to, like, we reciprocate the benefits of it.
And the owner of Popeyes is not even black.
No, definitely not.
The spokesperson is,
it's
the lady in the commercial
hip-hop,
is.
which is a black art. We don't make the majority of the money from hip hop. Not even close to it. No. They say African Americans make less than 25% of the revenue generated by hip hop, and it's our genre. So the last question on compromise is: do you feel this is like a more step away from like political and more just? Do you feel relationships are more partnerships or compromise?
Go ahead, guess. Go ahead.
All right. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit of both. You have to be able to compromise.
We know both. The piece, I never attack someone's answers, but we know it has to be both. Right. But I need you got to pick a side.
Okay.
Don't drill down the middle. You got to pick a side. Because, of course, it's both, but we got to pick a side.
I would say partnership.
You think it's more partnership?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think it's more partnership because whenever it's you and your partner, you have respect for that partnership, right? So you're more inclined to do what? To compromise with that partner, right? And a lot of times that comes with respect. You know what I'm saying? So when you're with your partner and you form a partnership, you're working together. You are collaborating, whether that means, with kids, anything, with how you raise your kids. It's a partnership. Even if you guys open a business together, it's a partnership. You guys are doing it together, right? And to me, if you're not in a partnership, that means we're going in two separate directions. Right.
Okay.
Right, and so I don't know how we can last if we're both going in two opposite directions.
What do you think, Cliff?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I'm gonna say compromise. And for a relationship to really,
I think once you're married for a while and been in this long relationship, it becomes more compromise. So you're the partnership.
It's compromise, and for a relationship to be really healthy, you got to do certain things that's gonna compromise you, right? Like to make the relationship good, right? A partnership. Me and my wife could own the seven houses, but so we'd be partners, but we still hate each other. When you compromising for that person, you saying, you know what, I'm gonna do something that benefits to help our relationship. That's what I think. So I think more compromises. It is more of a compromise to make the relationship more healthy, especially when kids play a fact of it, right? It's always easier to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna compromise for the relationship, and you might not do it. But when kids play a factor, you say, oh, hold on, I gotta do this because I want to make sure I'm in my daughter's like, I want to make sure my son's like. So that's what I'm speaking from a new parent, and also
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's more of a compromise.
To me,
That's
I feel it because
situation.
I feel like ideally you start off the relationship as a partnership. You know what I'm saying? I do this, you do that.
Yeah.
We're both gonna win and stuff like that. And I just feel like eventually human nature kicks in and then it becomes compromises. I feel like sometimes people begin to draw the line on what they're going to do and what they're not going to do, and it's like take it or leave it kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So compromise is not a dirty word, but at the same time, I feel like relationships that last long enough becomes a bit more compromise than partnership. 'Cause as a husband, you realize you lose a lot of power eventually. You know what I'm saying? It becomes more of a compromise than a partnership.
Speaking from long-term experience of my situation, I like the word compromise. Partnership is kind of like, you could be a partner. You could have a partner and still hate them, right?
I also feel like partnership implies you have equal say.
Yeah, equal
you don't have
say.
equal say, bro. You don't.
See, here's the thing. You don't. No, here's the thing.
You give him the DJ Khaled. Nah.
Well, go ahead.
I think when it comes to partnership, I view it as it's not just business. I think in the household, when you form a partnership, it's hierarchy in the household.
Okay.
Right. It's you and your wife. That is your partner.
Yeah, that's 100%.
No matter what. So to me, if you do have a solid, strong partnership, you'll compromise. Like you will compromise.
They're not mutually exclusive. I just feel like compromise in the beginning is a partnership, but eventually it defaults at a compromise.
Yeah, you have to compromise in a relationship.
All right. So because we spent a lot of time on that topic more than I wanted to, I'm gonna move the show on and I'm gonna talk the next topics, and we'll kind of try to be a little faster with the responses just due to time. So I'm gonna talk about the selection process as how we choose our mate. I feel like when we were younger, a big butt and a smile would have did it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But then you get older, you have life experiences, you realize when I'm choosing someone to be that person, I gotta have a better selection process. So first question, do you choose your partner based off of looks or potential now that you're older? I don't know your relationship status.
Right. All right. So I'm engaged right now. I'm getting married in about a week and a half.
Okay.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So to me, I would say potential. I don't base it off of looks. I mean, looks, of course, is the initial of what you see on the outside. Mm-hmm. But once you get to know somebody, I think that's kind of what you really go for. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think for me, the biggest thing for me was peace. Having the ability to have somebody to bring you peace.
That's excellent word when it comes to relationships.
As I got older, all the strife and the crazy arguments and the unstable, all that dysfunction, I don't have it in me. At my age to go through that stuff.
You have wisdom, man. You have wisdom.
Life is already hard enough for other things that we go through every day. You know what I'm saying? So to come home to something that's so horrific, I just can't do anymore. So to me, I picked that. I picked based off of what.
I think you didn't.
He nodded in her, right?
Yeah.
The reason why I want to champion what you said, because there's a lot of women out there who are bad. Pretty, nice body. You're like, I'm a bad girl. All these men after me and stuff like that. And then you find them single. Right. And then they're always complaining about there's no good men. And then you see not to dismiss, but you see a girl who may not have your features, who are more, plain or less into their looks. And you're like, why does she have a man? She's that man's piece. Mm-hmm. Women don't understand how much being a man's piece equals a lot. Go ahead.
And to piggyback to both with Terrence and also what you said, Marv, is your sanity. We just at this point in my age, I'm not saying I'm 100. I'm 34. I accept that I'm 34 years old, right? So I need my sanity, right? So if when I don't have my sanity, I can't operate and do certain things I need to do because you're driving me crazy, right? Yeah. So you could be the prettiest girl in the world to me, right? And whatever. If you don't bring substance and my sanity to me, we're not. Nothing's gonna happen with us. Yeah. And that's very important. I when a good relationship is, you gotta start with peace and sanity, and that's 100%. I agree with that.
Because when you're younger, you're like the lion and the gazelle. You want to tackle the baddest, girl. You want that conquest, and then when you're older, I want to be able to come home, look at your smile. Talk about each other's day, build, and just have peace, right? Because there's war going on outside. Yep. I want peace in my home. Right. Peace is an underrated trait. when it comes to relationships. So the next question is, does career goals factor in on how you choose to date?
Career goals?
Yeah. So like the ambition of the person you're choosing to date, you know, what they want to accomplish versus necessarily, you know, how they're going to contribute in the relationship. What do you think?
100%. Because in a relationship, the person, both parties should always have goals and aspirations and be motivate each other to do better, right? Because if that's not going to be there, the relationship is not going to work. And one person is always motivating the person, just like, oh, I'm cool at my job. You know, I work at McDonald's. I'm cool. I got a good schedule. I know whatever. You eventually gonna clash, right? And motivation and stuff like that. It's ambition is healthy for a relationship because it automatically puts you in competition, right? Because once you see your partner working hard, you're like, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
She's going for it, and it's a healthy competition. So 100%, I think.
I 200% agree.
Yeah.
I think you have to have that. I mean, there's no way that you can't have that. If one person is always flying like here, and you're always trying to go here, at some point you're always going to look down, and
animosity is going to be developed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then insecurity is going to play a factor because you looking at it like, oh, what you call it? Oh, why you doing this? Why you doing that? But you being insecure, the fact that person is doing better than you. But when somebody's doing better than you in a relationship, it should motivate you to say, you know what? I'm going to do better next year for myself.
But also to bring it back to the peace. If you're not that person's peace, you will change their ambition, right? Because you could be ambitious and want the world, and then you're in a relationship that's toxic.
Yep.
It completely destroys your ambition.
That's a fact.
And that's where
You don't wake up motivated anymore. You don't have the wind pushing you. Now you're just like, shit, I'm trying to survive, man.
And
I'm
that's-
trying to make it through, you know?
And that's the dysfunction that I'm talking about. Because if you're not going to get an ROI, if you're not going to get a return on your investment, you know, so if you're flying high and it's like you said, you're ambitious, you're working, and then you coming home to dysfunction, and if you're not bringing that person up, the opposite's going to happen. They're going to bring you down.
Exactly.
And that's the problem, because now you're waking up to strife, you're waking up to just dysfunction, depression, and you're not happy. It's crazy.
Exactly.
No, I can't do it.
So it's just like you got to find someone.
Balance you.
Balance you. Perfect.
Yeah,
balance. Right? Because if you're the overly ambitious person and the person with you is not ambitious, you're going to start to, like you said, look down at them. Animosity is created. The value you have in that person starts to kind of diminish. But at the same time, if you're with someone who pushes you and just motivates you and stuff like that, things that you weren't able to accomplish, you now have someone that's like, yo, come on, man. We know you could do this, but you could do more.
Right.
It's nothing better than to come home. You don't need to be pacified to make you feel like, oh, you're the king. But if someone's like really preparing you to be the king, you'll go out there trying to be a king and also at the same time make sure that that person is your queen.
Right. And
You know?
I think coming from, I don't have any children yet, right? I know you guys do, right? So
Yes, I don't.
So I don't want to ever look at my relationship as like I have a child when I don't have any, right?
Exactly.
And you don't have any more, right? So why does your partner need to be that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, like it's just.
That's good words. So last question, do you think your selection process taught you a lot or made you suffer from your younger days?
Oh, from me personally, it made me learn a whole lot. Despite it, whether I suffered or not, because I did. But to me, I look at what did I learn from it, and what could I have done better.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I think we can go, oh, well, that person did this, and this person is that, they're horrible to me. But for me, I look at myself and say, man, like, what could I have done better in that relationship? Maybe I could have noticed some signs better. Maybe I could have noticed some red flags. I take each relationship as a learning process, because each relationship has gotten me to where I am today, and which is in 11 days I'm about to be married.
Yeah.
And that came at a cost, but it prepared me for everything that I'm about to go through in the next chapter of my life, man. But I think it's all about the lessons and not about the disasters.
What do you think?
I think my process of relationships in general, it made me be a better person, made me be more mature, right? Because going through certain situations, and in my younger days, I didn't really give a fuck about relationships, right? I was more like, I want to have sex with you. I'm gonna be honest, I want to have sex with you and keep it moving. But then when you find somebody where the relationships you have is up and downs, you realize that you want to be more mature, better for that person. Especially, I always factor it in. I have a daughter, so I gotta lead by example. So if I'm acting like a cowboy, she gonna see daddy's acting like a cowboy, and then she's gonna pick a cowboy, and then I gotta shoot the cowboy.
Exactly.
So I gotta lead by example right now. So for me, leading by example, I try to show much respect to my wife. Now I don't argue with her, and I even tell my wife, if you want to have an argument, you better wait till that little girl go to sleep. Yeah. Because I don't want her to see that turmoil, because then she's going to pick a man thinking that's okay.
I feel like young Jeezy. I've been through it all. You know what I'm saying? I done seen it all. So
I try to lead by example.
So I feel like, you know what? It's lessons. I don't consider them losses. It's lessons, right? Because that time passed. I can't get back the time and the energy that I spent on the last woman. So I just got to become a better man going forward. And even now, in my current relationship, I'm learning to, like, you know what? The arguments, the shortcomings, whatever in the past, what can I learn from that? I learned more who I want to be. Right. I'm more what I like, what I don't like, and that's what we got to take from our loss, not losses, but our bad situations. We got to get the lessons out of them. Yep. Because if you only concentrate on the losses, you're forever a victim. Yep. And you're gonna be a victim in the future. Yep. Now, if you like, you know what, I learned from that. I know how to move. I know how to move differently. When I see signs, I don't necessarily get triggered, but I know how to move accordingly. Right. That's what we need to do. So we only got a couple more minutes left. So the last topic is red pill, green pill. The Matrix. You pick the red pill, you pick the green pill. Okay. So these are make the show a little more lighthearted. I'll start with you, red pill or green pill. Red pill, you're financially wealthy, but someone else chooses how you live your life and makes all your choices. Green pill, you're recognized as a great mind, you're famous, but you're forced to live right above the poverty line. Basically minimum wage, making $10 an hour. Which pill do you choose?
Don't play with it, life coach.
Green. You rather have the peace.
I can't have people make decisions for me. I can't have people make decisions for me.
I would green pill too, because I'm the type of person. I'm a Taurus. I'm very stubborn. I got to make my decisions. I got to feel like I'm a part of it before decisions is being made. So
red pill, because I'm married. I'm already having someone who makes my decisions for me and stuff like that. So if I'm a millionaire, and the key is making the person think they made the choice for you, but you kind of Kaiser Sosa them. You ever seen Usual Suspects? How he made the cop think the whole story? Nah, but that was just a joke. To be honest with you, I think green pill. Because to be honest with you, I've been in situations in life where it's just like you make certain choices, and it's just like, you know what? I could have been better financially, but I'm comfortable with the man that I am. Sometimes you're offered more lucrative situations, but then you're like, a puppet. And then you kind of go home like, damn, I get screamed at. Shit is crazy, but my check is nice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, so the next one, red pill, the love of your life, fun, great sex, bomb personality, not attractive to you, but you can deal. Green pill, looks like Rihanna, acts like a dead body during sex, only wants to talk about herself.
A.
Red pill?
Yeah, red pill. Because, sex is a communication thing. I'd rather her fuck the shit out of me than sit there and act like she don't appreciate it. Yeah. So
I would say red pill, too. Like, to be funny.
You want to sit there and play games with me? Yeah. Listen, I'm the type of person... I'll wait till tomorrow if you're not into it, because I gotta know.
Don't do me no favors, right?
Yeah. So
to be funny, I was gonna say green pill, but to me, red pill is just like when you in sync with someone, you love them and stuff like that. Like they may not look like Rihanna, but it's like that's yours, that's you. Y'all got that vibe. Right. Sometimes I've dealt with girls who I was like, she's mad pretty, but the disrespect that came with it, the level of I'm doing you a favor, it's like, nah, bro, I can't deal with that. Right. So the last one, red pill, die at 60, but remembered as a legend. Green pill, live to 85, but struggle the last 10 years of your life.
Red pill.
Red pill. I want to die a legend.
Yeah.
A legend.
People
remember. Listen, 60's okay. You listen. People remember a legend. You know, people
once
talk
you hit
about
60,
legend.
I always feel you have that. a certain amount of erections left in your life, right? So I feel like once all your erections are gone, come on, man, you had a good run. But also, it just brings to a more important point where it's just like, yo, you got to make the time that you have mean something, right? Because who wants to live to 90, but you was a coward all 90 years? You know what I'm saying? You got to make some choices, make some positions. But you know what? That's the end of our show. That was a very good show. I really appreciate you coming through as a guest. So I want you to do a shout out real quick and let them know how people can, what's your next event, how they can follow you on social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so everything is at T-Tail Inspires. My website is ttailinspires.com. If you want to know anything about my life coaching, booking me for speaking events, is ttailinspires.com. All social media.
Yes, go to his IG too. I was going through some videos and hearing his inspiration and stuff like that, and it gave me a pep in my step. You know what I'm saying? So go to his IG right now, subscribe, and get some good motivation in your life. What about you?
Just shout out to everybody. Just support one another. Like reaching and helping each other out shouldn't be a big deal. It should be something that should be genuine and something that you want to do, right? You never know who's reaching out and who can help you on the long run. So that's why I just want to give a positive message to everybody.
I want to piggyback what you're saying. Like, I think a lot of times people feel like if you big somebody up, you kind of make them bigger than you and people's egos get in the way. Nah, bro, just live your life like, yo, I want to see people win. I want to see people do good. I go out of my way to like show people love and support people. And not because I want anything back. Right. It's just because it's a good thing to do. It's a good way to live. And sometimes just bigging people up, letting people see, letting people win or helping people win and stuff like that, that's the motivation you need. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep your circle that way. A lot of times everybody want to shit on people and be bigger than other people. It's like, those are shallow. You live a life where you put yourself in a corner. You want to build an army. You don't want to attack an army. You know what I'm saying? So
can I make a shout out?
Sure.
Just want to make a shout out to my fiance.
Yes.
I know she watching. We got 11 days left. Yeah. And I want to shout you guys out too, man. I appreciate you guys for having me.
No doubt.
I love what y'all doing out here.
No doubt. And like I said, definitely want to have you back when you have something else going on to come plug it, and have it grow.
I'm writing a book right now too, so it's gonna be hopefully next year.
Listen, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of authors.
How many times I said have a book author show?
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have an author show where we can discuss our books. Network discussion.
Like it's about reaching back. Like me and him, I haven't seen him in years, but I'm just trying to reach out to anybody who I feel doing something positive and trying to uplift them with them. Because at the end of the day, helping hand is how you push forward, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's another wrap up of another good show. Shout out to Greedy Gut. Shout out to Open Shirt Poppy. They should be back for the next show. We out. Peace. Views.
Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for